Guys, I hope you're doing well. Last time I spoke to one of my friend, and I've got a question from him. Basically, what he asked me is, how can you how can you really not be how can you really not have any bad feelings, or are there any people that actually don't have any bad feelings? Because he hears it all the time. Don't be like that. Don't do this. Don't be envious. Don't be greedy. Don't be any sort of bad thing. I mean, this is what he hears on these motivational videos, and nothing of the bad stuff. Like you shouldn't do anything bad. And how is that possible? Are those people never having those bad feelings? So what I think is that even those people also have bad feelings sometimes, like all of us do, because there is an equal balance in the universe. So I believe that if there is a good thing, there is an equal amount of bad thing in every scenario, even if you don't really see it, maybe straight away. So what am I doing in regards of this when I start to have some sort of bad feeling? I feel it in my stomach or something, or I just feel that it kind of starts to wear me down. And what I do, I just try to stop myself. And I don't know, guys, if you saw my first video, but the very first video I made, it was exactly about the positive thinking. Like, how can you really, stay positive? And I came up with the example of being in an absolute dark room and you only have one torch in your hand. And the torch can only light up a very small fraction of the room. So imagine that you are strolling in the room with the torch in your hand, and then you suddenly find something ugly in the room, something that makes you scared, for example. Then what you will do, you kind of freeze and you keep on pointing that torch on that one little object in the room, and it paralyzes you. And even though if everything else in the room is perfectly beautiful, safe, and could cause you good feelings, you still keep focusing on that one bad thing, because that is kind of like a magnet, and it just brings in more and more. So it makes you more worried. It makes you feel yourself more, worse, basically. So what you can do, yeah, you need to kind of take control, and you need to realize that this is a bad thing. Let's see what else is in this room. And then you literally just start moving the torch somewhere else. And you might something really beautiful, something much better, which you can hold on to. And then you realize that, oh my God, there's so much more nicer things here. So maybe that one thing was just one tiny piece of that room, but then everything else is nice. Or let's say 50-50 is, as I just said, that there is a balance. The point is that you need to stop the torch on the nice things, and then you will keep on focusing on the nice things. So that could be one example in for example, if something bad happens to you. So I think everyone could have bad feelings, but some people, or more successful people, or these sort of motivational speakers, let's say, they only have it for a fraction of a time. Like this is what I started doing myself as well. For example, something bad happens. Last time, what happened to me is I cycle a lot, so I had to use my bike and I had to get somewhere very quickly. So I went out there and I just saw that I had a flat tire, so I couldn't use my bike. So obviously I got really upset, like, oh shit, I need to do this and I need to get out. But then I stopped myself and I said, okay, there must be something good in this, even though it's really difficult to see what good could this cause. I mean, I just made up something. I don't know if I made it up. It could actually be true. I mean, obviously, no one will ever tell. But what I thought, maybe this is something like a protection from the universe. I mean, it could be something that if I didn't have the flat tire and I went out there, I might have been in an accident. But because I didn't go out there, I didn't have the accident. So that was some sort of a blessing. I mean, obviously, I can't tell. And it might be a total lie. But still, this is a good thing to make yourself feel better, and this is the bottom line. Make something up, even if it's something totally ridiculous. You can make something up. You can make yourself feel better. I mean, this is the whole thing. Because if you make yourself feel better, more good things will come. So that would be one way of kind of exploiting the bad stuff that could come in your way. The other thing is, maybe if you can't find anything good in a scenario that happens to you, let's say in this bike accident or flat tire thing, you can simply still just stop yourself, and you can just start to think about a good thing otherwise, not about the bicycle. Just simply think about anything else that makes you feel better, be there's be it a joke or anything. Because I believe your brain is like a glass full of water, and you can't put two different sort of things in in your brain at the same time. Two very opposite kind of things in your brain. And what I think or what I mean is, try to think back of a time when you were both happy and sad, or when you felt good and you had good feelings in you, and then you also felt some bad things as well at the same time. And I mean exactly the same time, not 5 minutes after. I mean exactly the same time. I don't think anyone can say something like this. Because when you're happy, you generally feel more good feelings. You feel love. You feel, you want to laugh. You just feel like you're flying. But when you feel sad, for example, or when you feel some fear, or when you feel envious or something, that's when all these other feelings come. I feel envious, then you feel a little pain in your stomach, and then you feel like, oh, why is that people, having, why is that person having a better day, or whatever, and then you just generate these things because it's like a magnet. So if you have this cup and you pour some bad stuff in it, then more bad stuff will follow, because it's like a magnetic kind of liquid, let's say. But then if you start filling up with a positive thing, it will basically push out the bad stuff, because your brain can only be filled with one thing at one time. And this is why, or this is what I would do. If you feel that the bad stuff or the bad liquid starts to come in your mind, just stop. Pour out all the liquid and just start to fill it up with fresh and positive energies and thoughts. And I think that's the key. This is what I would suggest. I mean, I don't think anyone can really come up with any of the better ideas, but I think it's that simple, really. Just stop and you take control over your thoughts. And I think the bottom line is that you need to realize when you feel bad. Because many people don't realize, they keep the torch on the bad thing in a dark room, and they don't realize, or they don't even think about other possibilities. There could be something else in the room, because they think this is all. So you need to basically widen your view, and not just look in front of you, but look everywhere, and then you will see all the good stuff in your life. This is my message to you today. I hope you enjoyed it and liked it. Please share if you did, and I see you next week. Bye.